Hello there and welcome to the third episode of the studio project. My name is Wim Winters, and if you haven't seen the previous episodes, this is basically a series of vlogs in which we talk about our dream about building our own music recording studio and everything that it takes, both technically and also on the other field of organization, my life as a musician and so on. In the previous episode, we talked about our trip to Vigo in Spain, where we met Philip Newell, famous legendary sound engineer, who worked with Richard Branson in the 70s to start the Virgin Records, building the Manor studio, the Manor mobile studio. And we will talk about him extensively in one of the next vlogs. In the meantime, we had contact with our local administration, and they will come over next week. We're talking now 5th of June. This video is for upload on 7th of June 2015 for those of you who watch this in the future. So next week, 12th of June, we will have a meeting with our local authorities here and see what's possible. In the meantime, I would like to address one issue of his studio, what it requires to build a studio, and Philip Newell writes in his book, his recording studio design. I've mentioned the book. I will put up a link in the description box below so you can check it out. It's very well worth reading, even if you're not planning to build your own recording studio, since this will also, for us as musicians, show what it takes to make a decent hi-fi quality music recording. But one of the requirements, and he starts his book, actually, that's what I wanted to say, with some requirements that sets a professional recording studio from a non-professional recording studio. And obviously the plan is here to build a professional recording studio. So one of the things he mentioned, the first thing actually, is that a recording studio, professional recording studio, should allow people to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So night and day, without disturbing any neighbors or be disturbed by any noise of the environment. And to do that, in order to do that, the building needs to meet some technical requirements. It has to be strong enough to support the necessary isolation material. And moreover, and that's something I learned in Spain, that, and in the book, of course, but we really got a chance in Spain to experience this. The actual studio is built within the building. So it's the principle of a box in a box. And I explained to you, I just make a very simple drawing, or try to make a simple drawing just to explain to you. So come over to the computer. So if you have the outside a bit better made than I draw in the moment, that's your outside wall or walls like this, okay, and you have a roof on top, so not enough place to draw it. But anyway, what needs to be done is that at the inside there is a new wall built. The heavier the better. So you have here the outside structure, and on the inside you start with not a block of cement or just a brick. That this is a kind of it can be rubber, kind of special material that has this kind of softness, or just mineral wall, of course, of enough thickness and enough strength to support what is to be built on top, a new wall, you see. And of course, on the other hand, on the other side, the same thing. So very important to this is that there is not one single element that goes from the inner wall to the outer wall. You know, a normal house with two separate walls, certainly here in Europe, maybe in other continents, it's not so familiar, but certainly here in Belgium, let's say that is a house is built with an outside wall and an inside wall with isolation in between. Not that thick, of course, as I'm drawing now, but anyway. But then there is a joint made from the inside wall to the outside because, of course, obviously it helps construction. But that's really out of the question in studio, because sound is air vibration, and that hits the outside wall and it transforms into a kind of energy, warm energy, and also in it vibrating energy. And if you connect these two walls with each other, the vibrations will continue to that. So there's a complete separation from those two elements. On top of that, or let's start with the floor. It's the same principle. So you have first, of course, a concrete slab that can hold the structure, and I made a mistake. I see already let's see, these walls are a bit deeper with the foundations, and these inside walls are obviously made on that concrete slab. So here it is, very well drawn. Okay. On top of that, there are several options. The best option is that here you have some springs. That can be surprising, but you have springs in all kind of material, and sorry. So the weight that you can put up on top of springs, that can differ very much. So these springs are very heavy, made for lasting hundreds of years. On top of that, there is in plywood just a plate. Why is that? Just to be able to cast another, like this, another layer of concrete on top of that, about 16 or 20 centimeters. And on the sides, it's the same principle with rubber or mineral wool separated from the inside walls. So this floor structure can vibrate. If this concrete structure, actually the lower structure, can take vibrations from outside, low frequency, of course, because the higher the frequency is, the less strength that the vibrations have. So low frequency is what's really the enemy of isolation, and that can travel through the ground and really set a whole concrete structure into vibration. That will be neutralized here by the soft material and both by the springs. So this floor, if you would be able to put that under a microscope, you would see in daily life that it really vibrates. It's counteracting to the vibrations that it's feeling. And on top of that, on the studio, at the same thing, a little bit of isolation or rubber, and there, in the best case, there is a concrete roof. So we will talk in one of the next vlogs about what this does, because if you put a band of musicians here producing sound, because we isolate the room from outside noises, but we prevent at the same time that noises that produced from inside can travel to the outside, then here there will be a pressure of sound that's immense, and that's not a good thing. So isolate, because the sound pressure will increase accordingly to the wavelength of the studio. That's very technically, but every frequency has its own length, own wave that travels through this room. And since this room has kind of dimensions, these airs, these vibrations, these waves will come back and will be reinforced, and some more than others. And especially low frequencies will end up in very high boomy effect. So we talk in the next videos what to be next step is, namely to master the acoustics of this room in a way that you will feel that the frequencies and the sound pressure are controlled. But that's the first step. Isolate your room from the outside and from the inside. And I'll show you a movie which we made in Vigo, which for me was really a tremendous experience, where we, as you see here, we go into one of the studios, obviously a very busy road, met much traffic, and I asked Tanya, please film this, because I was rather skeptical that once we would get into the studio, that things would become better. So I just leave you watch a little bit this movie and come back in a minute.
Oh. No, I really do dentro con los cursos.
Okay, so this is it.
That's amazing.
Great sounding room.
From coming outside to this room.
Mm-hmm.
That's even not the sound of the
No,
the
that's
drill.
no sound. No, it's really well isolated, and the sound of the room is amazing. Banshee takes great advantage of it.
So as you can experience, and of course these little microphones of my camera, they're just capturing noise, but you know, it's the experience in real life was something that I never had in my mind that this could be realized. So much noise outside, coming inside. I mean, they were drilling really in the same building, since the building was to be not destroyed, but it was transformed into a garage. This studio was really at the end of this building, under kind of pressure for staying there. It's kind of pity. But anyway, that coming into this building, really the drilling was away. I could have made clavichord recordings, and as you will know, that the clavichord is sounding really soft. You really need a very quiet place. So at that studio, it was able to make a professional clavichord recording without being disturbed. So that was so amazing that I thought this would be a very nice first step in our construction idea of the studio, to share that with you. So on the same level as this, we are planning to build our studio, or we will not, if we're not able to fulfill our plans with kind of administration difficulties, or we would experience impossibilities there, then maybe we'd have to find another solution. Anyway, that is something that we will probably not know next week when we have this meeting about which I told you in the beginning, but it will become of course obvious in the near future. What can we do and what can't we do? But if we proceed, that's what we want to do. We would really have this heavy sound isolation to create a room where we can work 24 hours, 7 days a week, not only with me as a musician, but with others as well, and maybe even create a situation where we can rent this room professionally to third parties. So that was it for today. Next episodes will be about some other elements of the studio, or about Philip Newell. Maybe we dive into my past, as I promised you in the first episode, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. And that was it for today. I thank you for watching. Please think about subscribing this channel. That gives me the energy to continue if I see this channel slowly grow. And as I mentioned in some of the videos already, we will upload every 7th, 17th and 27th of the month video of the about the studio project. The 1st, the 10th and the 20th are the music videos. The 3rd, 2 days later, 3rd, the 12th and the 22nd are the Afterthoughts, and then we have the 7th, 17th and the 27th. The studio project, so 9 videos a month. I'm not sure that I can keep up with this tempo of uploading, but it's fun to do, so we'll try to continue that as long as we can. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for your subscription, and I'll see you next time again. Bye.